Hello guys, welcome back to another the daily video on the model railways, and obviously, of course, I do want to cover a topic in a little while. I want to cover a different topic for today with to do with model railways, and there's quite a few things I do want to cover in today's video actually, if I got the time for it today. I'll finish it just after 10:15, but I have got to cover quite a few things for, obviously with tomorrow coming up, being that I'm going to be on a train tomorrow, going from Bodmin Parkway to Hale, and then back again on the train. But basically I'm just trying to get myself back in the rhythm, get myself into shape and build my confidence going on the trains a lot. And being that, I'll take the option to travel on the trains a lot more, the real trains, and try to do that as often as I can. But yes, filming them is easy enough, but traveling's a different thing. Anyway, I'll get these trains going. I'm going to have some cargo going today. For the first half of the video session, and then we'll go into the other half of it. Will be basically working on maybe the table, and then I'm going to come to a chat video before the video ends. And then I'm going to do a chat video in the second half. This first half is going to be freight and trains, so it doesn't matter which order it's in. And one literally trying to do a different video altogether, but I want to mix the chat with the running of trains. So we'll get the HSTs going first. We'll start with the First Great Western units first, and then we'll work with the GNR. Then we'll work on the Castle with the 57, TWR, Castle, kind of thing. But yes. What is left over here needs to be destroyed. Right, I've got to shuffle myself to get round there without. I'll start with the freight, the HSPs first. Get them off on the go. I am looking to get some top carriages for these units, but at the moment, obviously I can't, but I might well get myself another 2 HSTs this year, all being well. Hopefully get 2. Let's see. Right, First Great Western one, we've got it good to go. We've got the GNR, which will go after this one. And then, the Castle basically. There you go. Most noisy is one of my HST collection, but she does run smoothly, so that's something I can't do it for. She does run smoothly, it's pretty noisy. Yes, so obviously the charges aren't quite matching, but the experimental charges are not really doesn't sound so down. Go to the train, and then look at that one pretty well. As long as the GNR does. This is a lovely train, but very smoothly in the process, so I'm trying to do that well. let's get the console closer down to the train. Let's keep it going. It's set up for this year anyway, so there we go. The reason I can't on her fur a lot of the time, and she just cut out. The reason I can't run her as often, as slowly, like the GNR, is because the GNR does have a habit of running very smoothly, but the First Great Western HST set, compared to the GNR, is that the First Great Western HST, it just doesn't run near as smoothly as the GNR one does. But that one, the GNR HST, just runs incredibly smoothly compared to this one. Which is probably the reason why I tend to run that one a lot more, because it does run a lot smoother than some of the other trains. And I'll try and get to it from this angle for you. Emmett Dawlish doesn't really show you the First Great Western HSTs anymore, but I think that would be worthwhile, because I never had a chance to do that in 2019 or 2017, and I had the opportunity of it, but didn't really think about it at the time. And also, back then I first did the opportunity of it when I thought about it, but too much going on that year. Too much. I mean, I am able to crouch a bit more today. I don't know if my knees will allow me to bend, but I'm going to try to crouch, even though it might be a bit painful, but I'm going to try my best. If my knees will be alright for a few minutes, just literally a couple of minutes crouching like this. I do like this angle. I think it's one of my favourite angles going around like this. You see all the details front of the train. And it gives a chance to the First Great Western one to run for a little bit before I turn it to the now and have a little bit of run. But yeah, these units are my favourite units, so I might just collect more of these before prices go shooting up like something crazy. You can get these units on eBay. I go all the time for these units. I got this one in July last year, and I got this one just October last year, and then I got the castle, I got like one in October. So yeah, I might get a castle, and I might get a Living Pullman HST set for the end of July. It depends, because obviously I'd like to commit in Formula 1 I think I got it at least once now. I'm going to see it second time in June, and obviously I'm going to hopefully go on it, fingers crossed. So I hopefully save up a lot of money for doing it. To go on it on my 30th birthday, which is in 2 years. But cost of living is just ridiculous. I'll get some carriages for this train this year and see what I can do. By October I should be able to get the carriages, proper carriages for that unit, and I think she'll look very smart with the proper ones, but at the moment she's only got the 2 experimental ones to go around with her. But, you know, it's closer than staying junior on the back of them, back of that one. It wouldn't look accurate otherwise. I'm going to take that off the valves for the moment so I don't, you know, burn out the motor and then stops the controller. Got that one in shot. And I'll put this motor on the front. Well, after I don't know how many months she got fixed, she's gradually got smoother and smoother, and I think for the benefit of doubt she has got so much, you know, more confident like the Genie R, the D and ER locomotive that I own in the premium version. I'm going to try to get myself back up. It's still a little bit of an issue, but it's getting better. Every day it's making things a little bit easier, but just trying to crouch means that it's able to steer up and able to stand back up again without breaking the knees. But yeah. Obviously with moving, as I said, moving coming up, obviously potentially could be the end of this month, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely they're going to be right at the end of the month. But I think it's more likely going to be in the middle of May, because obviously everything we've got going on. And I would like to make my last video here, if I can, before that. And obviously the 28th of May, which will probably be in the new house by then, which will certainly probably will be, it's going to be filmed, and I'll probably get on a train on the 28th of May, probably going on a train and film one thing for the 28th of May, the anniversary of this YouTube channel for 8 years this year. So obviously next year being on YouTube this year on the 28th of May, I'm going to make something special by going on the train and maybe going somewhere, either from German, Dawlish, or Exeter, or maybe Truro, or maybe Parr, Lockville, Bodmin, anywhere for that sort of video, for events, sort of thing coming up. So it's not too far away now. It's actually the end of next month. So yeah, not massively far away now, it's crazy. But we give her one more shot going around that way. I'll try to aim for the camera going the other angle. If you try to put it into this angle here, it's going to lean the camcorder against the side a little bit. And put her just in short of her train. I don't want to hold her in too long. She does cut the power out if I'm not careful. I do that. She's a very iconic and smart looking HST. I mean, all of the HSTs are. The only thing that puts me off of the HSTs is the buffers they put on the new ones. I do not like the buffers. Take the buffers off. They ruin them. I mean, it's not supposed to have buffers. The Brian Spencer company did that because they think it's supposed to be pushing the weight down when they've got power. But in fact, all it does is it starts to the performance of the engine. To the, what horsepower of the engine that can put out the unit, pushing down to the rails, doing this electric generator, and they just basically ruin it by putting buttons on there. I mean, when it first came out, of course, I explained the history of it yesterday, but if you're new to it all, then that's fine, but, as I say, there's things in this, railway community, in the real railway community, the real things. Being a train enthusiast myself, I go and film the real trains quite often when I can, but obviously when I have a Model A at home as well, and I go on Harris lines and go on the branch lines and all the other areas, to take an opportunity when we can, is to do it more often before we can't do it anymore because we can't afford them, travelling on them. Maybe we just not very often at all, but I still do it. I was very much quite happy to ride the railways as long as I'm living. And, I will make my time to actually save money up to get on the living performance on this. It will be the worst I've had by experience. But I don't know about service. It's a popular now. She stops now. Her motor's got a bit too warm. But we'll put her back away now anyway. Seems to be doing quite well. And the track is quite filthy as well. So I'm not really surprised. She's playing up. I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to switch the controller off. So we'll drive her around to where the GNR HST is, and we'll basically take her back to where her siding is sitting at for her. At the car got next to the GNR, that way she's more recognised siding. Now we're going to be ready to line up and very much be ready to get the other one out, the Junior HST is the next one to go. So she's had quite an amount of laps. Let's put her back in. Yeah, this one's got a special nameplate. I haven't found all the nameplates I want to put on all of my HSTs yet. I'll find one for the Midland Pullman, and I'm also going to find one for the Castle as well, and the GNR as well. Obviously I might get the Intercity version if they're on a big offer over Christmas. I mean a real big offer of this year, and see how many I can collect before I can't afford it anymore basically. But yeah, it's crazy to think if everyone's on a budget, tight budget, you can't afford like brand new models, or even second hand ones for that matter. Are you making a choice between affording your food shopping or whatnot, or buying your hobby? There we go, we've got the GNR carriages going on. Probably if I did kind of stand in front of the camera yesterday. I'm trying to avoid that today much as possible. Everything's on? Yep. Let's get the GNR just to be on the move. And do the same sort of amount of that before with this one. After we've done the castle, well, 57, putting the GWR carriage and the HST train car in the rear. After we've done saying it will, but yeah, it's annoying I did to get with that working. You can see how much smoother these trains are. Look how much smoother they are in general compared to the other trains. I think each train in general are always going to be my number one. In Motherwell and Double and 009, Airscale, or the all full-size things on the real railways that are really popular trains by many. And they're iconic as well from their history. Yeah, well, I think they're still going strong, I think, still down here for a lot of them, but they are cutting back on them because obviously finance reasons. This one shouldn't cut it out anyway, the controller, because it shouldn't do. I don't know, the controller just likes to do that. It has a heat capacity. I'm guessing the heat capacity in that controller is just kind of nipped and listed. I have had it for about 5 years. So, possibly it's just going down. Or the controller itself is the way it's heating. This is also possible. I mean, it does have a suffer of overheating in certain times of the day. It shouldn't be running like overheating right now. Yeah, it's not the train. Since the first bit rest runs so smoothly, it was fine. But we'll get out of again in a little while. I want to cover a topic in a minute, actually, so I'll sit down in the chair and talk about that before we run the next trains. And because that's going to take me 20 minutes to cover that topic, which needs to be covered, I think, for anyone who wants to go into it. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get myself a HST book, and I might make myself a little poster with the HST on, and put it on my bedroom wall in the new property. I think that'd be awesome. Especially if I can able to get the permission to go in the cab of the castles and the little full-size things at some point. Get a couple of photos and me standing next to it, sitting in the driver's seat or something. If I have permission by the drivers and GWR, that would be pretty awesome. But it's also depending on where it's most suitable and time such that they can sit around for like half an hour. Because I think it would be worth the experience to actually be inside one of those units before they go off rails completely. But I'm going to be back in a second, guys, but the battery needs changing already, which is pretty mad. But there we go, I've got spare battery with me. So I'll see you guys in a second, and we'll do the next part of the video. Some up and do like the odd day on my model array to actually put the GNR HST carriages onto the First Great Western with one of the other units put back onto it. So I'll put the GWR Castle training car on the back of the GNR, and it'll look really bizarre. I'm gonna just check the time and see how we're doing for time, so I'm not gonna run over laps of the time. Yeah, so yeah, so bear with me. got too much going on this week. And I don't want to lose anything. Waste of time. We're doing alright, we're doing alright. It's just come 10 past 10. Well, it's approaching about 10 past 10 now. So the next thing I want to cover is about the railway stuff. Just bringing my stuff around. It's easier to bring my phone around because it means I keep on time. Excuse me. So, obviously what I want to cover is, for this next topic is, don't feel rushed. To whatever your goal is with your railway, just try to take your time over it. And yeah, I had met a few of you guys recently. A few of you waved at Lost Review. I saw you guys. I was waving on the train going down the Par that day, or was it Troy? I mean, it could have been Troy. But yeah, I saw you guys. I saw you waving. And I was on a javelin at that point, going down to Troy, and then came back on a castle, which pretty awesome. Do we came back on a javelin as well? I think we came back on a javelin both on the same day, which is, they're not my most favourite trains. They're not as my favourite trains. I think they are probably, what place would I put them in my favourite list? The javelins, between the HSTs, castles. I think I'll put them probably in the 10th row, so they're not my most favourite train, but they're obviously not the worst. The worst in my list will probably be the Pacer. The Pacer is the terrible one, or the Canning single wheeler. I never actually owned the Canadian single wheeler or the Canadian superset. I never owned it, but what I've seen of it, it's crazy to have this one big centre driving wheel and the rest is basically freewheeling. It's just makes no sense at all. Who brought that idea up to drive a big, large, fat wheel doing this, and it's got nowhere else to pick up electricity from? It's basically that one wheel basically drives, and the rest was pick up for basically that feeds the motor from one centre driving wheel. It's mad, completely mad. I mean, I will get one. I mean, I will just have a laugh at it because it's the funny thing to see, but I don't know if I'll keep it. I might put it in my bag of sand. Yeah. So yeah, definitely not gonna keep a Canadian single wheeler. Yeah. I didn't realise how tired I was. Any steam trains I am gonna get this year will probably be an A4 Mallard, the Flying Scotsman, or maybe the Welsh Scot. The Flying Scotsman in the premium condition. The other steam engine like Tornado. The Liz, King Elizabeth train, because obviously the train is called Liz. I'm going to get that one, which is supposed to be the Diamond Jubilee special from several years ago, when the Diamond Jubilee was the Queen's, was it 70th or was it the 80th year for her? This is before she passed away. I don't ever had a chance to see her, but I always wanted to see the Queen and all the Prince. I kind of like the idea of seeing them, you know, being my present known to them. I know it's Prince Charles on the throne now, isn't it? So, yeah, I'd like to meet him before, at some point. And sometimes the Queen does, like, the Queen before she passed away, she would have some people to have company with her, which is quite something. Obviously, I don't know if that's the same with Prince Charles, but I don't know if he's good listening to the people, the audience, to what they got to say to him. I don't know. I know the Queen did have a lot of things to talk to and their opinions with the Queen, and they can share that opinion with them, which is quite nice because I don't think all Queen or princes, have that option, or they would want to have that option. But yeah, I suspect that the Queen really did. She passed away, but she was saying was 90 something. Was she 91 when she passed? I think, or something like that. She was sick, I think, in the last year or so when she passed. So yeah, speak smokes to the Queen. But yeah, I guess for something that I also want to cover is to make sure I want to cover this is important values to you guys to maybe learn this sort of thing. If you want to be into Valorant, and I highly recommend it. If you want to, in the future, to wire up your layout, whether it's DC or DC, you can wire them in onto your track. It's that simple. Well, yeah, it's not too difficult, but you need to get the accurate right to when you do it, because otherwise it'll just go flop on you. And the soldering kit to do it with, it's okay, but again, you have to be so accurate with it. And yeah, so for this last bit of the topic I want to cover for you guys, which I want to share my own experience with, being the fact that this is not to do with trains. This small topic is actually going to take about 5 minutes to cover, so it'll just after the quarter past, so it'll be 18 minutes past 10 by the time I finish this bit. I want to share this personal experience with you guys and share it. My whole experience of my life with railways and relationships experiences, it's so different. Without putting into too much context of the system of me experience. And some people would ask me, do you believe in true love? Some people probably say yes, other people say no. For me, I know I want true love with a person. I want true love with a companion doll. I find, very attractive in every way as possible. Face, body, everything. Right down to everything. I guess I like someone being, when I was younger, I always found when I was a kid, this was when I was probably between the teenage years, I was very much into people back then, and I was sharing my experience now, because this is my sort of experience. I found people when I was growing up. I found back then when I was young, it was when I found some people who had the intelligence, the confidence and the trust, attractive ones, to me when I was young. But now I'm completely off all those scales, and I just completely lost interest in relationships altogether because of my experience during college. It kind of wiped everything out the window. So, and I choose to close that door and never open it again. So, obviously, me to be in a relationship with a companion doll, it's fine. Obviously, I just don't feel the need to feel the necessary or the need to have a relationship with a real person. I just don't feel that need. But yeah, so I've been single pretty much all my life, so it's not really bothers me. It really doesn't. I think it bothers my mum more than it does me. But it's just is what it is. I chose the opportunity there and then, and I choose to close the door on it. I never choose to reopen it again. But you know something? Being single is not all that bad. For what I've been paying with all of it, with a real person, it's just been a lot of pain, a lot of trials, and a lot of anguish, and a lot of trials with it. It's just been going over the same loop over and over, and it just kind of gets to the point where you kind of lost the interest in all of that, because so many more people in that aspect of context, it's like people just want to be that way. They don't really think they're down with someone, they want to be in a perfect intimacy with each other, a full-time life with each other. They want to be have the similar interests with each other, but most of the time, it does seem a lot of the time now, a lot of people do have different interests, but as they get older, they just kind of lose apart from each other. Which seems to be the case a lot more in modern day society. So why would people be in a relationship if that's only going to be temporary for like a year, when they could just be best friends and they can just find someone that's more interested to them? I don't get it myself, but everyone's different, I guess. But yeah, and if you're into a relationship with your companion, does by all means go so. By all means do so. Just don't let other people convince you to saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm guessing in that aspect, with relationship with a companion dog, you can have, even with the full experience ones with the robotic version of the companion dolls, that are robots version of companion doll. I mean, that's the next step up, but they cost so much more. I think the robot companion dolls are about 10,000 upwards. They're a crazy amount of money. But if you got the money and you want to save the time up to have your best, perfect robotic companion doll, by all means do so, but it will take you a long time to save up that much. It'll probably take about 10 plus years, maybe, if you're doing well and not actually decide to stop any time. But obviously, give money to like shopping and the odd occasional holiday. And my next companion doll will be either a TP doll, or it will be a silicone doll. I'm not totally sure yet. I do want to get another one, but obviously I am very much interested to get more HSTs when I can afford them. But for two of them, I can get a lot of trains, a lot more trains. Probably for about 600. You can probably get 12 trains for about 600. You could get the A4. You could get, well, the premium A4 for one of them. You can get 2 HST for £640. With 3 HSTs, just cost you over £1,000, which would be crazy. So yeah, I'm between the two, between the HSTs and the companion doll. I'm in 2 months, because I set up a companion doll YouTube channel because I am going to get a new companion doll. I am thinking getting a new one before I get myself a new HST, but obviously I would like the idea of getting a new HST sooner, being that the price is going up so much. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's 20 past 10, so I need to wrap this video up. Look forward to a special video coming up tomorrow, guys. If you want to see anything to do with the chat video channel, I'm going to be posting one on Saturday, maybe Friday, I'm not totally sure yet. And there will be a companion doll video I'll talk about on Saturday, possibly. So if you guys are looking forward to tomorrow's video with me going from Bodmin Parkway down to Hale on the train. I will film part of the journey, but probably not all of it, being it's a good hour away. So I'm going to be on a train from quite early in the morning, so it'll probably be anything between 10:15 and probably 10:15. So yeah, obviously because you can't go out at peak times, obviously it'll be more expensive. So yeah, I'll probably go. I'll be looking forward to the train journey actually. It'll be my first one this week, properly. Going further afield by myself. So, it's like going down to Park would cost you £3.20. But, going down to Hale would cost you probably a lot more. From there and back. So, if you get all day return, basically you get return, outward journey and inward journey tickets, you can, and if you live in Devon Cornwall, you can get a train pass. Saves the money, especially for those that are on a budget. I highly recommend it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's video to Bodmin Parkway to Hale. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow on this very interesting train journey. And I'll meet you guys all in Hale tomorrow morning, probably to our afternoon. Anyway, have a great day and peace out. Okay, we're back with the next part of the video. I did have to change the battery over, but that's alright. I've just got to find the sitting up area. The thing does not go up and down anymore. It's kind of reminding me it's so far down, it's supposed to be going up. Well, there's only one lever and there's supposed to be like these little things going in the back to help. See? I'm quite far down. Yeah. Obviously, as I said, there's many things I need to cover, and obviously with the weather being a little bit gloomy, I want to cover these topics today. Now, just going to adjust the height of the camcorder, that way you can guys see me a bit better. So yeah, I want to cover these topics, and because I want to cover them today because it will save me a job. It's sunny, obviously with where things are. And the first thing I want to mention is, quickly, is that probably take me about 10 minutes to cover this particular one. If anyone's thinking you want to get into model railways, get into the hobby, I highly recommend keep eyes peeled on second-hand trains that are cheap enough for the first several months or something for your life. It's find cheaper alternatives for, you know, when you're on a budget like me. I get them when I can afford them, and obviously sometimes it means I have to save up for a long time to get one. Say like those units over there, like the HSTs, I bought quite a lot, and obviously I basically missed 2 weeks of shopping because I bought them. But I bought them because, you know, the price keeps going up. I'm not going to be able to afford them for too much longer, and that's why I collect them when I can, because all these trains, all the HSTs that I own in model form, those units in time could be worth a lot of money. Say like the HST First Great Western and the GNR. Those are two popular trains, and as well as the Castles, the Midland Pullman, and also the Intercity. The GNR, not the GNR, the Grand Central one is not as popular because I think for some reason because the buff has been put on it, it makes it a little bit more ugly, so to speak. But yeah, don't ask me why Grand Central was what I was bringing the idea to do that, but you should ask them. So yeah, so that's Grand Central for you, I guess. They decided that was a brilliant idea at the time. Take the buffers off on HST. They don't need them. They assume they need them because what they've done with this weird Freightliner one, which is, well, I'll cover it in a minute. With model areas, when you get into it the first time, it's basically what you need to do is to think what you want to build, get a draw, well, build a little layout on your little board or a table or a Constance table like I started doing when I bought it. This thing I bought back in 2015 when I had the money and finances to do it. I bought it simply because back then when I bought it, it was my plan to build up a dream layout. Obviously not taking into consideration what potentially could happen in the future down the line. I do realise it's going to take me 8 years to think this could happen so quickly. 8 years do go by very fast. I mean, this being in this house for like 8 years is quite incredible. Because obviously with other properties you just can't live in a property more than 2 years for some areas. But with certain housing team, you can live in properties for as long as you want. But it's obviously government bills is the problem. It's why I only run my trains in this property during the time when I'm out here, or I got something special going on for a video, or when I'm just want to play my trains when I come out here as my free time. And other times when I'm not running on my 00 scale model railway layout, my dream layout, which is smaller but it's still in 00 scale. But I can cram it in as much as I can, but you can see how much space it takes up. But it's all not all that bad, if I'm honest. It could be much worse. I mean, I see this little gap in between the servers, but what I'm going to do when me and my mum move, all this will be changed again. Obviously, because nothing's been put down properly yet. I'm going to start doing that when I move. Won't be straight away. I'm going to put some money aside for it, get the tables, get the stand for the board, and make it as strong enough foldable legs, and it'll be about the height of this one, about the height of this Constance table, so it's literally level of this height. And beginning that you can sit down and you can play with your trains, and you can build up scenery, build up hillsides, tunnels, telegraph poles, and obviously pylons, turbines, those air turbines you see quite a lot now. And you also can see things like working flashing lights on the level crossings with the little alarms. And you can have opening doors and trains, which I am going to try to see if I got any friends by that time in the future to come to actually know how to make the doors open and close on model trains, which would be pretty awesome, especially on the carriages, or on some of the carriages where they basically go beep 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 and slide shut. Yeah, you can do that. In Germany they've done that. They've done this thing over opening doors for the cab, and there's these model people walking across this model railway, walking up to the train, and they're all like taking this flash on top of the camera like they're actually taking a photograph. It's quite cool. It's incredible what some people in Germany have really put this model railway museum in Germany to actually everyone can see. But the extent of wiring and the extent of detail they put onto that layout is incredible. Why can't the UK can have something like that to that scale? In a smaller finance like the Constance length, or in my small dream layout board, you can have something like that going on, just in the smaller version, instead of having something so big it takes up the whole garage. But yeah, that could be a possible idea I could do once I settle. It's just obviously money, and obviously saving it up to put that money away to do it would take me time. See these two Gauge Master Combi controllers? These little Gauge Master Combi controllers I have collected during the time when I actually first time I got the Gauge Master Combi controllers. They were 2017. I bought these in 2017, two for £30. They're about £12 each, so £30, maybe 40, depending on if you get postage involved with it. So it's about £35 for these two Gauge Combi controllers. They're singles. I've got two singles of the controllers with the cables, and you have to bring your own cables. You have to wire your own cables to the plug, to the controller. You basically have to strip of the wires, and you have to add them to your layout to make the controllers work, which is very fortunate for me because obviously I know how to wire plugs. When I was growing up, I knew how to wire plugs. It was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and of course, obviously, I think the newer generation becomes more. So the generation we got coming in now as this modern day society would have no clue how to wire plugs, or stripping back cables, things like that. Because obviously when you're doing layout stuff like soldering your cables to the track, either from a computer or with the controllers, and you got this digital Hornby system now that's coming out, with supposed to be supposed to be sort of for digital and DCCC friendly. There's Hornby E-Link 2000, I think it's called, and it's suited for DC and DCC friendly control. It's not by a controller or by a special device, by a DCC control. It's actually, you can use it on your computer, you can use it on your phone, and you can have sound put on it. You can have a steam generator pushed into the motor, and it will fly out with a bit of steam coming up from the funnel. And I think Hornby are working on that. They're actually trying to put generators into the steam engines. I mean, don't quote me on it. I think that's what they're thinking of doing. But I think they could do that with diesels too. The diesel engines, so they can get basically a steam generator, but instead of being white, you give it a black, coal black colour coming out the chimney on the diesel engine. It looks like it's actually burning diesel. That'd be incredible. And then obviously you can have more offence with the diesel engines when they haven't started up for a long time. You can actually give it like that backfire look, like when they've been sat for a long time and they need a lot of revving to push all that gunk coming out the top of the chimney. It's just, you can give them sort of effects and the sounds when they start up, and you can hear whining to get in that taking over mode before it starts revving it up, trying to get it moving. And with the steam engines, you can get the firebox going, you can get all the equipment to actually do all that. Pretty cool, but obviously it's money. It's what's cool for your money. I think with Hornby, with certain trains that they have made, with the 87, the Class 43s most definitely, they've done a really awesome job with the 43s. They've basically put a lot of time and effort in for the 43s because they are the premium versions of Hornby. They are the best quality premium train you can get in the diesel selection, and they are really expensive, but they're worth the money because hey, you get LED headlights coming towards you, two on one side and one on the other side, and then you get air horns which you can't properly see, but you probably can paint those small bits of grille with a bit of silver paint, and you can sort of finger it with, those really thin brushes with a bit of silver paint on, and you can actually leave the rest of the grille completely dark, and it wouldn't like there is actual horns there until you would really look close to it. And yes, in the Ville form, the Ville size trains, you really can tell there's horns there. It's not very obvious, but you can tell them that they're there, centrally under the cab. And I don't know who created the HST back in the day. I would need to know their name to who thought that was an awesome idea for a train. Obviously, with me collecting all the HSTs as much as I can in the premium versions, I can get 2 of these for £600 for 2 of them. 2 HSTs. Which I am tempted, getting the Midland Pullman and the Newcastle, and then obviously I will find some carriages for the first Great Western train. And then I might look into get another train, another HST, maybe cross country, if I can afford it. I'm hoping so. I can get a cross country for the end of this year, which would be pretty awesome if I do. I've been on cross country once this year. That was the first time. It was the one that goes from Bodmin. Did it go in the Bodmin? Yeah, it went from Bodmin to Edinburgh. Well, no, it didn't. Yeah, actually, I got on from Plymouth train station, and I got off at Newton Abbot train station. I basically got off the cross country Voyager 221 Super Voyager, and I got on to 150 from Newton Abbot down to Dodge Warren, or down to Dawlish on that day. And yes, the weather was pretty atrocious, but it gave me a lot of opportunity to film trains, get a decent amount of walking, and enjoyed the very hideous wet weather. But, you know, I think for the benefit of the doubt, definitely going to have worth some time with, just, you know, film the trains and have your time to yourself and just have a bit of space. It's quite nice, but obviously with, as I say, finances is a problem, just going on the real trains, as well as looking after your model ones, find going on real things. But yeah, the real things are cheaper in the long run to ride on, and you can film at different points of the station. Model wise, it's cheap if you keep it small in the layout. The less things you've got going on, it's cheaper to run. And the more you've got going on, yes, it's great for detail and great for quality, to see the trains going through the valleys and tunnels and through, you know, past villages and all that, and past housing estates and a little bit of side of river and all the Tamar stuff. Then yeah, it's great in that way, but it does cost more. And obviously with, as I say, with the prices are going up for electricity this year. It's an incredible, crazy amount. So my opinion to share with you guys, if you want to get the Model Air, is either double the scale or N or T gauge or 009 or, you know, O gauge, which is really expensive. I think for one big O gauge train it's cost about £1,000, which is crazy. But for 00, I think it's about anything, depending on what train you get, anything from 26 to about 300. And the very rare ones would be probably about 150, depending on where you go for them. But it's depending on what units you get. But my HSTs I will collect because I know they're going to be probably worth money in the future, especially if they go out of fashion in the next 10 years. I hope they won't, but in the real form, they'll probably already be off the rails. It's going to be sad times. But obviously that's on the real railway, and yes, that's the one I'm going to miss the most when they're getting replaced by these Class 800 Javelins. Are not near as outstanding to look at, and when they come in pulling the platforms there, this is the way they stand and the way they look when they come towards you, like they're very aerodynamic from the 1970s, and obviously they're diesel hydraulics, so they're not just full out diesels. They're actually diesel and electric, being that you've got those generators in. The Javelins are full out electric with a diesel generator, but I think some of them are now petrolized generators. I think some of them are petrol. Not all of them, I think some few are going around on the British Rail network. And obviously being at the layouts in the model forms now, it's like incredible, because I remember when I was growing up, when I was a kid, when I was a little boy, I obviously did travel quite a lot on the trains, and one of my first trains I ever had was a toy train set. It wasn't a double O and it wasn't electric, it was battery operated, and obviously they did have proper rubber tyres back then. They didn't brake in fact, trying to put them down the stairs, they go trying to climb up them, and it just got, once a few did get up to the top of the stairs, which was quite incredible, but very few did. And obviously when I did have a few trains doing that, you do have to have them with a crazy amount of speed to get up them. But, I was experimenting when I was young with the battery operated trains when I was a kid. But since I got into the adult form, I got into model railways, the full size double O electric model railways. And it's an adult toys. It's not in the way it's inappropriate, but it's because a bit of fun, you enjoy it, takes your time over what you want to build with it, and it gives you a lot of opportunity with scenery, backdrops, ideas, plans, and you can get your favourite trains you want to put on this layout, depending on what your layout's based on. For me, for this layout is based on Heritage Line, because I'm not basing it on any steam engine eras. I'm basing it all on the diesel era, so it's like the early freights, the HSTs, the mixed traffic between passenger and freight. Some of them maybe the really early diesels doing wheel slips when they're trying to pull heavy amount of cargo. Things like that would be. And I got the odd AC electric over there because it's one of my favourite AC electrics. I'm not a big fan of electric, but the only personally in line I have with the AC electric is the 87, and what's the other one called? The 85, is it, by Batman? I do like the 85s, and I do get curious about the class, was it the 90? Was it the 395? I can't remember which one it was. But it's just how the system works, and I do like the weird tinnery stuff that they have at both ends on the really earlier stuff. They got like 8,500 watts on one tinnery, and then the other one is like 8,500 watts on the other one. Because they had inconsistency with each other's tinnery. They had different cables back then. They had lower voltage on one tinnery, and then you got the bigger voltage on the other one. So they were experimenting and seeing which one was more efficient to run with the trains, and obviously I'm guessing for other reasons too, like trams and stuff like that. So I guess they got the idea of measuring the old early AC electric trains were designing for the future with the railways. And obviously they run around for like 20 to 30 years, the old AC electrics. They're still around, as far as I'm aware, or they still occasionally run up in the middle of the country, but I don't think they ever come down here because obviously we've got no tinnery. We still got some of the early stuff with 7/4 signal boxes and signal towers, and we've still got the old quite early stuff, which I quite like. I like the old-fashioned stuff when it comes to tinnery, and I like the old 7/4 signals too. I like all that. I think it gives the real railway kind of an interesting point of view to see when you're going back maybe 80 plus years ago, what it was like. That's how it used to be back in those days, and it kind of, to modern era, it kind of seems something similar. But it's mixed around now with modern and new and old. So, and the bottom Barbie, you can see all that. You can see the main line, and it used to be there's points on the outer side of the main line joining into the Bodmin central line, and obviously it did join up. and obviously I assume that took that out because it wasn't very safe to have that system probably kept into place because there was too many fast trains coming through there at particular times, and obviously it wasn't efficient for the heritage line coming out to the main line unless they were doing a tour going up the country with it. But they have another line on the other side of that heritage line that's going towards the sheds, which probably converts out into the main line, going down towards Par and, you know, up to Troy and back with on the pannier. I mean, you could easily do a trip like that with that, but it's having those facilities to do it. So with the Flying Scotsman, I think with the Flying Scotsman it's stopping at Truro. Is it stopping at Truro? No, it's stopping at Par. If you want to go and see it, the Flying Scotsman at the end of April, I think it comes around to like late morning, early afternoon. So between 11:30 in the morning and 12 midday. So if you guys want to be there around those times on the 30th of April, then worth doing, because the Flying Scotsman does come down at the end of this month. Obviously I didn't see the tornado because the boiler didn't came, so it didn't run through. Apparently the 16th of July is worth catching because on the 16th of July there's supposed to be the cross country with the intercity on the back. I would like to see that in a 2+6 rake with some of the old intercity stock with the cross country coaches too, with the maybe the intercity on the front on one end, especially matching up with coaches. Then you've got the cross country with the cross country carriages on the back, and you can't do the mixed wine thing together, which I occasionally do with my models. I occasionally mix them up.
This train has 4 coaches. Train stops in zones 3 to 6. Cycle spaces in zone 3. Wheelchair facilities in zone 5. Platform 1 from the